You open your laptop to make a simple decision, and 20 minutes later your tabs look like a junk drawer. Reviews, comparisons, opinions, another opinion about the opinions, and that weird sinking feeling in your stomach that says, "I'm still not ready." Your shoulders tense. Your eyes flick faster. Your brain keeps whispering, "Just one more check, then I'll decide." But you don't decide. You keep browsing like you're trying to earn certainty. Here's the pattern break. What you call being thorough is often your nervous system avoiding responsibility. Not because you're lazy, because choosing closes doors and your brain treats closed doors like danger. Stay with me, because by the end you'll have a single mental model you can run in real time, a one-breath interruption that stops the spiral mid-scroll, and a 2-minute protocol that turns endless research into one clean decision you can stand behind. Let me open 4 loops and close them all. The real reason you can't stop researching is not curiosity. There's a silent moment your brain decides to delay and you keep missing it. You have 2 different motivation circuits and you've been feeding the wrong one. And there's one sentence that snaps you back to action in under 5 seconds. First, let's talk about what this actually costs, because it's never just time. The first cost is obvious. You lose hours to just checking, and those hours leak into your day like a slow puncture. The second cost is sneakier. Every time you don't decide, you teach yourself that you can't trust your judgment. Your self-trust erodes in tiny invisible scratches. The third cost is identity level. You start seeing yourself as someone who needs more information before they act, someone who is always behind, someone who lives in preparation instead of execution. And then there's the quiet shame moment you don't say out loud. You realize you know enough, you've known enough for a while, but you keep searching because deciding makes your chest tighten. You're not searching for information anymore. You're searching for relief. And your brain is very good at pretending those are the same thing. Here's what your brain is doing in plain language. It hates uncertainty, especially when the outcome feels like it will reflect on you. So it tries to reduce uncertainty by collecting inputs. That's sensible up to a point. But once your threat system is activated, the goal quietly changes. You stop collecting to learn. You collect to avoid. You collect to delay the moment where you might be wrong. Because if you choose and it's not perfect, you imagine regret, judgment, wasted money, wasted time, looking foolish, feeling foolish. That imagined pain is enough to trigger the same protective circuits that would activate if you were facing a real threat. So your brain reaches for the easiest form of control it knows, more information. And it feels productive because your eyes are moving and your mind is busy, but inside you're stuck. This is why research spirals feel so sticky. They are a socially acceptable form of freezing. Now let's name the map. I call it the 3 buckets, and once you see it, you'll catch yourself faster. Picture 3 buckets on a table: the need bucket, the nice bucket, and the noise bucket. The 3 buckets. Need is what must be true for the decision to work. Nice is what would improve it but won't make or break it. Noise is everything that feels urgent, dramatic, or persuasive, but doesn't actually change the outcome. The 3 buckets. Most people get trapped because they keep treating noise like need. They keep feeding the noise bucket and wondering why they still don't feel ready. The 3 buckets gives your brain a rule. You only research until the need bucket is full, then you decide. The 3 buckets. Let me preview how it plays out in real life so your mind has a hook. Need is 2 or 3 criteria, not 10. Nice is a preference list you can compromise on. Noise is endless edge cases, hot takes, and what-if scenarios that keep you safe from choosing. The 3 buckets. Now we walk through it with the micro scenes where you actually spiral. Imagine you're buying something, headphones, a chair, a phone, anything. Or you're choosing a gym, a plan, a course. You start with good intentions. Then you hit a review that says, "It broke after a month." Your stomach drops. Now you're not shopping, you're threat scanning. Your brain's job becomes eliminate the possibility of regret. Here comes the silent decision you keep missing. It happens right there in your body. A tiny flinch, a tightening in your chest, a subtle urge to open another tab. That's the moment your brain decides we are not deciding yet. Not with words, with sensations, with impulse. You miss it because you think you're still in logic, but you're not. You're in protection. And once you're in protection, you will never research your way into peace, because peace is not at the bottom of the internet. Peace comes from a clean process you can trust. This is where most people stay stuck. But this is also where the switch lives. The 3 buckets. First bucket, need. Here's the first micro action, and it's almost offensively simple. Before you open any tabs, you write 2 need criteria in one line. 2, not 5. 2. Example: within budget, works with my device. Or solves the problem, fits my schedule. Or will I use it weekly and can I afford it without stress? If you're choosing a task to do, need could be moves the project forward, takes under 30 minutes. 2 criteria. This matters because your brain spirals when the target is undefined. If you don't define what enough looks like, the mind will keep collecting. A defined need bucket creates an endpoint your nervous system can aim for. Now, second bucket, nice. This is where your preferences go, and the key is you make them optional on purpose. You say, nice if it has this, but it's not required. Why? Because the threat system pretends every preference is a requirement. It whispers, if it's not perfect, it's wrong. But your adult brain knows the truth. Most decisions succeed because they meet needs, not because they satisfy every preference. So you write 1 nice item, maybe 2, and you label them nice. This tiny label changes your behavior because it tells your brain what not to protect. The 3 buckets. Now, third bucket, noise. This is the hardest one because noise often wears a lab coat. Noise looks like being smart. Noise is the 9th comparison video. Noise is the comment section. Noise is extreme cases and rare failures. Noise is the urge to find the single perfect option that will guarantee you never feel regret. And I want to be kind here. The desire to avoid regret makes sense. Regret hurts. But trying to avoid all regret is how you guarantee a different regret. The regret of time. The regret of missed momentum. The regret of living in endless prep. So here's the second micro-action. The moment you notice your body tensing and your tabs multiplying, you do 1 breath with a longer exhale and you say silently, that's noise. Just like that. That's noise. You're not denying the information exists. You're labeling its category. This is not positive thinking. It's attention steering. Your nervous system calms when it knows where to place things. The 3 buckets. Now let's talk about the 2 motivational systems, because this is where research spirals become a habit. You have a threat circuit that motivates you with avoidance. Don't be wrong, don't waste, don't regret. And you have a progress circuit that motivates you with movement. Choose, learn, adjust. When you research endlessly, you are feeding the threat circuit. You're telling your brain, this decision is dangerous. That makes the next decision feel even heavier. But when you choose with a clean process, you feed the progress circuit. You tell your brain, we can handle outcomes. That's how confidence is built in real life. Not by always being right, by being able to choose, learn, and steer. The identity you want isn't someone who never makes mistakes. It's someone who can recover, correct, and continue. The 3 buckets trains that identity. Now we install the protocol you can run today. It's called the 2-minute research lock, and it rides on the 3 buckets. Here is the if-then rule. If you open a 3rd tab for the same question, then you run the research lock immediately. Not after 1 more check. 3rd tab is the trigger. You don't need more motivation. You need a better trigger. The research lock begins with the 1 breath interruption. Inhale normally, exhale longer, and label what's happening. Delay impulse. Just naming it reduces its grip because it turns a compulsion into an object you can observe. Then comes the 30-second environment tweak. You close every tab that is not directly answering one of your need criteria. Not forever, just for now. If closing feels scary, you bookmark them into a folder called Noise and close them anyway. The act of moving them is important. It tells your brain, we are not throwing information away. We are choosing what matters. That calms the threat system. Now you run the 3 buckets at speed. You look at your 2 need criteria and you ask 1 question per criterion. Do I have enough to say yes or no? If yes, you stop researching. If no, you allow exactly 1 targeted search that can fill the need bucket, not 10 wandering searches that fill the noise bucket. 1 targeted search, then you make the decision in a single sentence. Here's the 5-second sentence that snaps you back to action when your mind wants to keep browsing. Needs decide. Noise lies. Needs decide. Noise lies. You repeat it because your brain needs a simple rule when it's under social pressure. Needs decide. Noise lies. Now you choose. And this next part matters. You create a small closure ritual so your brain stops reopening the loop. You write, I choose X because it meets need A and need B. That's it, 1 line. This is not for the internet, it's for your nervous system. It turns the decision into a coherent story which reduces rumination. And then you take 1 tiny action that locks the choice into reality. Click buy, schedule the thing, send the message, put it on the calendar, start the first step. The action is the seal. Without the seal, your brain will keep trying to renegotiate. Now let's close the open loops we started with so your mind can feel the relief. The real reason you can't stop researching is not curiosity. It's protection, your nervous system trying to avoid regret by avoiding choice. The silent decision you keep missing is the body-level moment where your brain flips from learning to threat scanning, and it shows up as tension, tab opening, and rereading. The two motivation circuits are threat and progress, and endless research feeds threat, while a clean process plus one action feeds progress and builds self-trust. And the sentence that interrupts the loop is needs decide. Noise lies, because it reminds you what information actually matters and what is just anxiety in a clever costume. Here's the deeper reframe, and it's the one that removes shame. The part of you that spirals is not trying to sabotage you. It's trying to keep you safe from a feeling you hate. Regret, embarrassment, the fear of being judged for choosing wrong. That part learned somewhere along the way that certainty equals safety. So it tries to buy certainty with research. But certainty is expensive and the price is your life. You don't need to become careless. You just need to become decisive in a way your nervous system can tolerate. That's what the 3 buckets does. The 3 buckets. It gives your brain a boundary that feels safe. Define need, allow nice, label noise. The 3 buckets now return to the opening scene, upgraded. The tabs start multiplying. Your chest tightens. The urge says one more check. This time you catch the 3rd tab. That's your trigger. You exhale longer. Delay impulse. You run the 2-minute research lock. You keep only what fills the need bucket. You label the rest noise. You say, needs decide. Noise lies, and you choose. And then notice the micro victory. Your shoulders drop. The buzzing in your head quiets. You didn't get perfect certainty, but you got something better. A process you can trust. That's how you become someone who chooses on purpose. Your experiment for the next 24 hours is simple. Pick one decision you've been circling, define 2 need criteria in one line, and run the 2-minute research lock the moment you open a 3rd tab. Just once. Let your brain learn that you can decide without collapsing. If this installed something, share it with someone who lives in comparison tabs. And if you want one upgrade a day that makes your choices cleaner and your mind calmer, you're welcome here.